Hello and welcome back to Conquest TV, the free video companion for your Warhammer 40,000 Conquest subscription. I'm Frankie Vu, and in this episode we're going to delve into issue 11. This issue comes complete with a squad of 3 Space Marine Primaris aggressors. These are awesome specialist warriors equipped with deadly melee and ranged weapons. In this video, we're going to learn more about the aggressors, how to build and paint them, and then unleash them on the battlefield in a game. Let's get started. In the new background that comes in issue 11, you'll find out all about the Space Marine aggressors. These bold warriors wear heavy Gravis armor and carry powerful close-ranged weapons such as Boltstorm gauntlets that make them excellent at storming enemy positions or boarding spacecraft. There's also more information about Ultramar, the empire ruled by the Ultramarines chapter, and how it was besieged by the Death Guard. Though the Ultramarines appear indomitable, even they must defend their home against their traitorous former cousins, and the background here will be great if you want to make up your own stories for the games you play with your Space Marines and Death Guard miniatures. Finally, there's another battle focus, this time from the planet Antennia, where the Space Marines from the Salamanders chapter fought against a horde of alien orcs led by the feared warlord Garka. Fighting in a charred forest surrounded by flames, a squad of aggressors used their Flamestorm gauntlets to bring the Orc war to an end. Can you use your own aggressors to defeat the Death Guard? We'll find out later, but first you'll need to build and paint them. Like your Intercessors and Plague Marines from earlier issues, the aggressors are push fits, they don't need glue. If you want to use some glue to make sure they fit together firmly, that's fine as well. Just remember to use small amounts in a well-ventilated area. There are 3 aggressors, and using the assembly guide in issue 11, you should have them built in no time at all. There are a couple of features about them that are worth bearing in mind as you build them though. There are pipes coming out of their power packs that attach to their weapon arms. These carry the volatile promethium fuel that is the ammunition for their Flamestorm gauntlets. When you're attaching the arms, make sure the pipes line up with the sockets for them on the weapons. Rather than tabs on the models and slots on the bases, the aggressors have a small hexagonal peg on one foot. This fits into one of the holes on their bases, and the sprue also comes with 3 small pieces of scenery that fit neatly into the extra holes. Now remember to add these so that you don't end up with holes in your bases. Once your aggressors are built, it's time to get painting. Painting your aggressors is much like the other Ultramarines models you've done so far, but they do have a few unique features that are worth paying some attention to. The aggressors are quite large models with a lot of detail on them, so you'll be using a lot of Macragge blue for the base coat. It's a good idea to thin your paint slightly on a palette. You do this by adding a drop or 2 of water to the paint and applying a couple of thin coats rather than one thick one. This way you'll avoid obscuring any of that intricate detail. The pipes and cables on the models will look great in Abaddon Black and Leadbelcher. These will contrast well with the blue and gold on the miniatures and make these details really stand out. The Promethium fuel tanks attached to the aggressors' power packs are a bit different from anything you've done before. Painting the rims of these with Leadbelcher and the centers with Retributor armor works really nicely, especially after they've had some shades added. The Null Noil and Agrax Earthshade you received in your last delivery will help you capture all that texture on the aggressors. With so many areas of Leadbelcher and Retributor armor, these shades will get into the recesses and make the details pop. Remember to use thin coats and to make sure that the shades don't pool in the recesses of your miniatures. Now that your aggressors are painted, it's time to get them onto your gaming mat and see what they can do to the Death Guard in battle. Your new aggressors bring a new type of weapon to your games. Unlike the guns you've used so far, which need you to roll, to hit and to wound your opponent's warriors, the Flamestorm gauntlets fire huge streams of burning promethium that blanket the Space Marines' enemies, meaning the aggressors don't need to roll to hit. Before we see how that works, let's set up your latest tutorial mission, Fire and Fury. This mission pits your new aggressors against a whole horde of enemies, a unit of Plague Marines and a unit of Poxwalkers. While this might look bad for the Space Marines, their Flamestorm gauntlets are perfect for taking out lots of enemies at once. Each aggressor has 2 Flamestorm gauntlets, one mounted on each arm. When the aggressors fire, they each fire both weapons, rolling a dice for each one, so 2d6 for each model. The number you roll is the number of automatic hits you get. For example, this aggressor has rolled a 1 and a 5 for a total of 6 hits on the unlucky Poxwalkers. After this, you just roll to wound like you normally would for shooting. Check the datasheet in your magazine to see what you'll need against different targets. Because they hit automatically, a unit of aggressors with Flamestorm gauntlets can do huge amounts of damage to their enemies. So, what's the catch? Well, the flames are quite short-ranged, so the aggressors have to be within 8 inches of an enemy unit to shoot at it, meaning that any surviving models will be up close and probably pretty angry. If those angry survivors choose to charge the aggressors, the Space Marines will get to fire Overwatch. If you want to refresh yourself on Overwatch, check out the rules from issue 3. Overwatch with weapons like Flamestorm gauntlets works the same way, except instead of needing to roll 6s to hit, they just roll their 2d6 and get that many automatic hits before rolling to wound and save as normal. Yep, Flamestorm gauntlets are amazing for Overwatch. Flamestorm gauntlets aren't just for bathing the enemy in superheated flames though. In close combat, they're even more devastating. Any warrior wounded by a Flamestorm gauntlet by a close combat attack takes not just 1 wound, but d3. For each unsaved wound they take, roll a dice. On a 1 or 2, they take 1 wound. On a 3 or 4, they take 2 wounds. And on a 5 or 6, they take 3 wounds. If the target has the disgustingly resilient rule, then they'll get to make a save against each of these wounds. Those massive powered gauntlets can make a real mess of Poxwalkers and Plague Marines. You'll find all of this information in the rules update. Refer to it as you play the tutorial mission. And when you're done, there's replay mission 10 to try. Burn the traitor. In this mission, we really put the aggressors through their paces. Advancing into the battle, they have clear orders: storm the enemy position. Against them, a horde of Poxwalkers and Plague Marines stand ready to bar their path. If the aggressors can fight their way across the gaming map to reach the Death Guard starting positions in 4 battle rounds or less, the Ultramarines win. If the Chaos Forces can slow their advance, victory goes to the Death Guard. There are additional rules in the magazine for different weapons the Death Guard can use as well. Add these to your replay mission to give the aggressors a real challenge. That's it for this issue. Good luck with your new aggressors. We'll see you next time, where we'll be adding a new hero to our Nurgle army.